Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the SQ1 Champions League. We've got a massive game for you today in Week 3, Day 2. We're going to be seeing Fuzzy Esports taking on Royal Reapers in this massive game. I'm, of course, Viper, and I'm joined by the Sarge, who's going to be breaking down this game with me. How are you doing today, Sarge?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much for the lovely intro. I'm very excited to see some more of these teams play. We saw Royal Reapers play last week. They got a bit of an upset to It's Actually CBA, and we've just come out of casting a game of Fuzzy Esports playing where they put up an excellent performance against Actually CBA themselves. So, going to be a big clash here, see what our new team can do in the second game of the league.
Yeah, the second game, of course, they did lose that one against actually CBA, who are obviously rating playoff champions. Royal Reapers are regular season champions. But it was a trial by fire for them in the first game. It's been a trial by fire for them the first week as they come up against Royal Reapers in their second game. But they did look very, very strong. And hopefully we'll be able to see them bounce back and play just as well as they did in the first game. Royal Reapers, of course, very, very good team in their own right as we jump straight into Champ Select.
Yeah, jumping straight into Champ Select, and we've already had a bit of a joke in the pre-game lobby about a couple of picks and bans we might see that would be coming, but we'll go through those as they turn up. We have Royal Reapers on the blue side, and they'll be banning Pyke away to start with. Could be trying to target that Pyke Yuumi bot lane, but we've seen a resurgence on the LEC. And as we were saying, the Lux has been banned away. This is one of Omena's best champions. He has a 5+ KDA on Lux, so anybody that has the slightest bit of scouting in them will be taking that away from Royal Reapers, as we are seeing now.
Yeah, and the Sona ban. This is why I am biased towards Royal Reapers, because they banned Sona Taric. And that bot lane composition, if anyone's seen any of the games I've cast recently, I hate it. So kudos to them taking it away. Karma also being banned away from Axel too. You've got to imagine the top lane is not necessarily a top lane main, so taking away more comfortable champions like the Karma might put him in a bad situation. Vladimir and Sivir, two very strong picks, are going to round out this ban phase, and we're going to see the Aatrox being locked in immediately for Royal Reapers.
Yeah, saying he isn't a top lane main is fair to say. He is Royal Reaper's regular support. The top lane is unavailable for this evening, so he's moved across. But not trying to play a bit more of a defensive champion, going balls deep immediately with the Aatrox, and a Sejuani will be picked up for the side of Fuzzy Esports jungler, followed up by an Irelia. That could be flicked towards top or mid lane. Have to see how the rest of the composition rounds out. But he's a very strong solo laner nonetheless, and pairs very well in that Sejuani in the 2 versus 1 or 2 versus 2 matchup when the Sejuani chooses to gank.
Yeah, Sejuani very strong ganking early, has a massive teamfight presence and is very tanky moving throughout the game. Very, very strong pick, and we've seen what Aurelius can do in this tournament already, dashing around and doing so much damage and having a decent amount of CC. Rek'Sai being locked in immediately for Crackle over on Royal Reapers. That's a very, very proactive early game jungler who's going to be looking to keep the pressure on the new boys.
Yeah, you're talking about ganking early, and Rek'Sai is the embodiment of that. Extremely good at ganking, finding all of these interesting angles with the tunnels that she's able to put down, and a Morgana will be picked up on our last pick of the first stage for Royal Reapers, with a wild Fiddlesticks appearing. Now, this throws into question where the Sejuani is going to end up. Will it be a top lane Sejuani into the Aatrox as, you know, a bit of tankiness, just sitting back trying to farm and scale up a little bit more, not letting the Aatrox get ahead? Or will it be a Fiddlesticks down to the bot side of the map and seeing some interesting shenanigans down there? We'll have to see as we look towards more bans with the Corki taken off the table now.
We've seen in ERLs and around the leagues there can be a couple of rogue picks. Middlesticks is always a bit of a meme because he is an AP carry and he's listed as a mid laner sometimes in lists, and I don't imagine we'll see that, but we did see a little bit, and I mean a very small one game specifically, of Sejuani mid in an ERL. We saw it in the UKLC back in season 1 where it was played by Exile, who's an ex-LEC player. He picked it up mid for XL, and he inted. He did int on it. It wasn't a good pick at all. But maybe Z has seen that match recently and was like, do you know what? Yeah, I'd really like to die 6 times in lane. So we could see him pick it up, but I imagine it will probably be the Fiddlestick support with the Sejuani jungle, most likely. But we have seen Corki, Nico, Syndra, and Kai'Sa being banned away. 4 very strong picks. Syndra maybe being a bit of a rogue outsider.
Yeah, picks all across the map, but mainly targeting the mid lane and the bottom lane here. As a couple of different hovers are coming through, don't know what is going to come out for Fuzzy Esports. As we said, we haven't seen a lot of their play so far, so wouldn't be too surprised to see some wild picks coming out, and Victor being one of them. Now, we have to imagine that is going to be a mid lane Victor, but it could also go towards the bot side of the map. I'm not holding my breath for that too much, but has a huge amount of wave clear and would be quite nice into the likes of the Caitlyn that we're seeing hovered by Payne Trevelyan here.
Yeah, Victor again could be seen maybe a little bit of topside play, but I used to say back when it was prevalent, Victor top is not good. None of the NA teams listened to me. They all played Victor top and they all fed in lane because I am the knowledge on League of Legends. No one else is. That's why I'm a player because I have all of the analysis and knowledge. But it could be taking anywhere. We're going to see Caitlyn and Poppy picked up throughout the composition. That might suggest that we're going to see an Aatrox mid with Poppy going up towards Axel in the top lane.
Yeah, I'd say that this is looking towards an Aatrox mid there. The Poppy will not fare well in that mid lane matchup, is not where she wants to be, but ideally she wants to be following around the Irelia wherever she ends up. And this is a very interesting composition with rounded out by the Renekton for Fuzzy Esports here. It's a bit of a mismatch all over, and I'm holding my breath on saying anything too much because I was caught out in the first game with actually CBA moving the calm around midway through a big analysis point. But it does look like that's going to be Renekton moving towards the top side of the map with an Irelia Fiddlesticks. Very, very aggressive play here. Looking to engage hard and pick up kills early. Not wanting to sit back. Renekton is such a bully in lane. He will do a lot of damage to this Poppy. And the Irelia, if she's able to get onto the Caitlyn, her and the Fiddlesticks will have more than enough CC, more than enough damage to make her see a grey screen all the way back to base.
I love the Fuzzy Esports draft, but at the same time I hate it because Irelia and Fiddlesticks want to be going in aggressively, but they're playing against Caitlyn Morgana, so yeah, they're going to be poked constantly, and if they engage, they're going to die. Renekton in the top side, Poppy does reasonably well into Renekton. At level 3, Poppy can be very, very safe and shouldn't really be under too much pressure. Renekton, of course, doing so much damage, being a really good 1v1 bully, but Poppy is a champion that is very capable of weathering that storm, and Renekton's mobility is all dashing, which Poppy can really shut down. In the mid lane, you've got Aatrox. Victor can do a little bit of poking, but he's very immobile. If Aatrox hits one of those knockups, you're going to be struggling. You've got the movement speed, of course, but it's just, I don't really know what this comp's meant to do, and I don't really know what kind of mad scientist has concocted this.
Yeah, and it's not completely off the wall. Let's start by breaking down the things that we'll all be a little bit more comfortable with. Sejuani in the jungle. Fantastic engage, huge front line, absolutely tons of gank potential. Could use that in the top lane with the Renekton, double stacking that Frost even quicker. Could look towards the mid lane to try and pin this Aatrox in place, or pair it with all the CC we've already mentioned in the bot lane. Victor, bit of an unusual pick. We don't see him very often, but during Worlds, he was picked up as a counter to the Aatrox by quite a lot of teams up in that top lane, so we'll have to see how that goes down there. He's a massive amount of wave clear, so at the very least, should be able to keep a lot of pressure in mid lane and keep the Aatrox pinned in, not letting him move about too much. Renekton, like you said, is a massive bully, and of all the people that you could choose to bully, Poppy is probably the best pick for Royal Reapers to try and alleviate some of that pressure. She's got a lot of tools to try and stop him, and her shield that she can put up, stopping all the dashes, will stop the Renekton, the Sejuani, and the Irelia, causing them some problems. So, a couple of familiar elements, a couple of ones that are a little bit more. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, it's I'm hard pressed to say anything about the bot lane from Fuzzy Esports because if I say XD Irelia Fiddlesticks, what are you doing? They're gonna go like 17-1 in lane. If I start going into the nuances of the Irelia Fiddlesticks combination, how it's going to work and how they're going to do X, Y, and Z, then it's going to hard face roll into the bot lane and die loads. So I'm kind of going to leave that one to the side. It's very interesting and it's going to be very exciting to see how it goes. Caitlyn Morgana, I'm very safe in saying that's a very good bot lane. It's got massive amounts of poke. It's got massive amounts of safety. And when you're playing into something that's a bit off the wall, you're going to want that a little bit. You're going to want to be able to be little bit safer and take the fights when you can take them with the Rek'Sai coming down as well. This game has got all the makings of just an incredible spectacle, if not an incredible game. And I'm really excited to see how these two teams play around. Of course, Royal Reaper's a very, very proficient team. Fuzzy Esports, we saw in their first game, had moments of pure brilliance, but were eventually taken down. So this is going to be an incredible game. I can just feel it, and I'm very excited to watch it as we go into loading screen.
Yeah, and at the very least, if there is one certainty we can take out of the draft phase so far looking at these two teams, it is that Royal Reapers have opted very, very heavily into AD damage. The only source of AP that they have is the Morgana, and with her being the support role, she's not going to be getting these big items and being that big damage threat. So depending on how Fuzzy Esports composition fares, how this bot lane in particular is going to fare, they could at the very least fall back on armor stacking and try and outlast some of the damage that Royal Reapers will be throwing their way. But like you say, not sure what's going to happen about the bot lane just yet. That is a bit of an interesting one to watch. Royal Reapers having picked themselves up probably one of the safest bot lanes in the game, it's fair to say, and a lot of impact, I feel, is going to be down to the rest of the map and how these junglers move about. Whether SQ1 is able to make an early impact compared to this Rek'Sai, or whether Crackle is going to stomp and help this Poppy survive and get this Aatrox rolling against the Victor. And we are loading onto Summer's Rift now. I'm not sure if we've had a slight connection drop from Discord. We did during our first game loading in, unfortunately. So we'll be waiting to see where Viperoon is. Can you hear me, my friend?
I am here. What I did is I did the introduction and then you cut halfway through and I was very confused. I had left my mic muted because I had a sip of water. I'm a professional, by the way, but we are into this one, ladies and gentlemen, between Royal Reapers on the blue side and Fuzzy Esports over on the red side. I was so happy with my introduction as well. And then you just like, oh, I think there might be a connection issue. I just look over and just see the flashing red mute light, and I was like, ah.
I mean, at least I took the initiative to try and say something. I was concerned that we might have had the same issues that we ran into last game, but regardless, we are now both here. We are all present today on the Rift. Let's wait and see. No good level 1 shenanigans like we've seen previously. Both teams taking the standard line of scrimmage, pretty much what you would expect. Neither team has an amazing level 1 engage potential. Royal Reapers definitely wanting to try and avoid that if possible. Both junglers going to start on the top side of the map, potentially pathing down and seeing some early action in this bot lane at about 3 minutes in.
Yeah, they might want to try and get involved, because if you're Caitlyn Morgana, you're going to say, okay, we're going to be safe against these clowns down here. Come and gank, we'll get some early kills. And if you're Fuzzy Esports, you're probably like, guys, they think they're going to be safe against us. Let's get involved at level 3 and get ourselves a lead, because with Aurelia, she's going to be a massive, massive force going into this game, and if you can get her rolling early, and with the aggression that you're going to want to be throwing out, Cal the Turtle has the potential to do absolutely insane work on this bot lane pick.
Yeah, the main thing that is going to be a problem for the Aurelia, of course, is farming in these early levels. Into the double range matchup, she was always going to struggle, but without having the range herself, that is going to be made even harder here with the Morgana able to lock from in place and the Caitlyn racking up the damage. It is always horrible when you get knocked by the Dark Binding into the Caitlyn traps as well. A lot of damage will be going her way, and unless she plays very safely and picks up farm well under tower, may well be irrelevant coming out of laning phase. So have to see how that will go, as Poppy has the early shove in top lane.
Yeah, she does have the early pressure in top lane. It looks like Bumblebee's going to want to be a little bit safer up on that Renekton. Doesn't want to go in too aggressively on the Poppy. You don't want to give her a lead. You kind of want to bide your time a little bit. Renekton very strong at the early levels, but against this Poppy, might need to bide his time and say, okay, I know exactly where I'm going to go in on you and get the kill, because I don't want to give you an early lead, because then everything I've got planned will be ruined.
Yeah, it's definitely not a matchup you want to fall behind into. Poppy can be very impressive.
Here we go, Caitlyn has been bind. He's going to take a lot of damage. You see Caracal coming in. First blood going to be taken up by Morgana, as Fiddlesticks will get the return kill. Might be bound, will flash away as Martins comes in, looking to get a kill onto Caracal. He will go down. Official Murters pick up that one. We see a TP coming in from Aurelia, who's got that one stocked up. Fleeing Morgana will be feared as we put up to the top side very, very briefly, as Francesco managed to flash away from the 4th tick of the permafrost and will get away. But 2-for-1 trade for Fuzzy Esports. And as you were saying, level 3, bot lane, it was the place to be.
Yeah, big engage on the bottom side of the map. Both junglers getting involved in this 3v3 fight, and we will see Fuzzy Esports coming out slightly ahead of their Omen, going in the mid lane, but Morgana might be picked up here, stepping forward slightly too far by herself, will disengage, likely looking to back with Rek'Sai hanging around as well. Might be going for a return gank here. The Fiddlesticks has no summoners at all. Irelia does still have the flash available, but no summoners at all. Hold that thought.
Caracal getting the knock-up, only onto one, only onto Jeddo on the Fiddlestick, though he's going to be forced away as Caracal with that spell shield will look to get the kill. No flash available, though, he's going to be forced back, not able to pick up anything there. Very well played, though, by the jungler to alleviate a bit of pressure, allowing Francesco to go back.
Yeah, just saying that there was no summoners available to the side of Royal Reaper's bot lane. Not a flash, heal, or ignite that would have been needed to chase down that Fiddlesticks and secure the kill, but it does alleviate a little bit of pressure and allow Payne Trevelyan on Miss Caitlyn to get back into lane and farm up some CS here. Renekton is backing it on the top side of the map. He has picked himself up a nice CS advantage now, going to be going likely towards that Phage, or the Black Cleaver, trying to get that early item and cuts through some of his Poppy's armor, picking up the Kindle gem for himself here, and in the mid lane the shove is coming through from Victor as well. No real surprise, the ranged into the melee matchup.
Yeah, but Z is taking a decent amount of damage here from Amena, looking to cut him down. Neither champion has 6, and the stun might be enough to get Z out here. He will be able to walk away from that one. But Aatrox, as we said, not the most mobile. If you get one knock-up, you can land all 3, and that's going to be a lot of hurt. As we see Caracal coming in, looking for the knock-up, will manage to land it. As Amena follows through with the damage, will be able to cut him down. Z falling on that mid lane, and you can have all the push in the world, but you're going to go down like that, then you're going to struggle, as we see a bit of a fine top lane, but it probably won't come to much. Axel just backing away a little bit. He's got the crappy pot rolling, but he might actually fall here if he's not going to be careful. Bombi looking to get damage as he turns, and the minions are going to start helping out Axel as well. The fight is just continuing, and people are going low, which I'm worried about, which is why I keep talking. Bombi is stunned into that wall. We'll have to flash to get away, but that's going to be the end of the fight.
Very, very close from Bumblebee there. I saw the Poppy positioning up for the wall bang and I was holding my breath. Not quite enough damage to actually secure it there, but very nice turnaround for what we initially said would be a difficult matchup for this Poppy. Trading very aggressively, and Crackle moving up here, trying to catch this Renekton out on the tower.
Knock up, he will land it, but the Q won't land from Poppy. Axel's going to pick up that one, but Caracal so low, but does manage to get away from the last tower shot. Very, very well played. Caracal did cancel the back just before that, if you saw that on the mini-map, so very well played from him to get his Poppy the lead that she so really needs in this matchup.
Yeah, and Renekton will be able to TP back in to catch this wave here, so won't lose too much gold and experience, but is going to suffer from going down. He's a level behind the Poppy already, now has no summoners at all to his name, and a death as well will not be helping him out. It keeps the Poppy about even, because Renekton does have the slight CS advantage, but could see more action towards the bot side here. Sejuani positions.
Oh, we're going to see Payne Trevelyan be engaged upon. The bind might keep her alive, but here comes the silence from the Crow, doing a decent amount of damage. Both are silenced. We see Jenna coming forward. The flash from Cal Turtle with the damage coming through. Payne Trevelyan will fall. Aurelia picking up that one, and Francesco gets out alive as we jump to the mid lane. And Mena, World Ender looking to catch on to Z, who also has his ultimate available. Will be looking to run away, but will be dragged back. Caracal's there as well, trying to give us a bit of assistance. The ultimate from Victor will not be enough as Rek'Sai picks up that kill. Kills traded across the map, but you've got to say, Cal Turtle, he's doing work on the Aurelia already.
Yeah, action coming in every lane so far, but we mentioned in the draft how much CC was available to this bot lane of Fuzzy Esports, especially if the Sejuani comes down as well, and we're just seeing it time and time again. Caitlyn stepping up and getting caught out, even with the Morgana's Black Shield, trying to keep her alive, just not able to get away, and with that flash down, an easy pickup kill for the Irelia, able to just dash forwards. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, pretty much the same story. Victor, very immobile, no CC of his own other than that root, which you need to stay in for a long time before it triggers, and cut down by the Aatrox and the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai doing a lot of work across the map here, really helping out his solo laners, trying to get them the advantages they're going to need.
Yeah, Bombi just having to force away Poppy from that top side. Axel putting on a lot of pressure, putting on a lot of hurt. We are going to see Martens coming up to give him some assistance. He's being shoved in as we see Fiddlesticks coming up as well. They're going to look to put some pressure on this top side with the roam from Jeddo, leaving Aurelia down bot lane by himself, as Victor's going to take a little bit of trade in the mid lane.
Yeah, and we have to remember here that this isn't Royal Reaper's primary top laner, but hold that thought as Irelia uses the ultimate in the bot lane, won't follow it up for the final kill. But yeah, in the top side of the map for Royal Reapers, this is the support that's playing here. Morgana coming down in as a sub and trying to stun up this Irelia, misses the point blank. Dark binding.
Though, and now we're going to see Aurelia jumping in, looking for the kill. Jumps onto minions to give himself the dash, but now it's going to be forced back as we see the flash coming in. We're going to move mid lane, and Fisher Martens looking for a stun. Will manage to land it with the assistance of Zihi. Might be able to get onto Amena. We do see Jenna coming in with the fear. We see Pimp Aurelia actually slaying the Aurelia on the bot side as Martens pick up skill onto Amena as Axel looks to chase onto Bumblebee. Hasn't got damage really with the ultimate, especially coming in from Bumblebee. He is going to try and chase her away, but very, very well played to pick up a couple of kills from both teams, one apiece.
Yeah, and it's looking very even so far for both teams across the map. Sejuani has the two of the 4 kills for Fuzzy Esports. Fiddlesticks getting caught out here will die
here. Martens is there, but maybe shouldn't have turned up. Is looking to get away. Does manage to have that Q to get away, but they do lose Geno. It looks like Royal Reapers have got this game in the palm of their hand.
Yeah, starting to make these advantages. Rek'Sai has been doing so much work, 2-1-2 so far, just able to path around quicker than the Sejuani can and make these plays happen. Catching out members of Fuzzy Esports, and with 3 members down here in the bot lane, have to see if they're able to do so again on this Irelia.
Pearls had to jump in. He's going to be trying to take Francesco low, but will be rooted up and will be killed. The Yordle Snaptrap catching himself an Ionian and getting the kill there. You can see Aurelia, it's not working out too hard, but a lot of that is on the back of Crackle playing very proactively and trying to shut down this pick.
Yeah, we've seen moments so far when the Irelia Fiddlesticks has worked very nicely, and then we see moments like that as well where she's kind of stuck between 3 members of the enemy bot lane, being kited around, just taking all of this poke damage like you mentioned, and it's not the most convincing. I'm hoping that when we get out of the laning phase and there is a bit more option to move around the map, I'll hold this point as Bumblebee is engaged on.
I think Bumblebee will be able to get out of that one, actually. He's got... The ultimate's already been used by Axel. He will be able to dash away in a couple of seconds. Flash actually used by Axel might be enough to secure this one, as Renekton is going to be able to dash away. Not too much worry from him having to just use that summon, like just force someone that doesn't actually use his own flash. So very well played from him. He's going to go back now with no teleport, which will be problematic. But yeah, fighting in the top side, it's getting towards that point where Renekton's going to have to be very careful about this Poppy.
Yeah, the Poppy is able to put some hurt on Miss Renekton now with the early lead she got, but in the mid lane...
Everywhere, as we do see Aurelia using that ultimate, will land on Paper Aurelia, but going low herself will go down to the ultimate of Morgana and Paper Aurelia's damage, as we see Geno stepping on a snap trap, will be falling down. It's going to be the Morgana helping out with that one. Paper Aurelia getting the double as we see the flash forward from Amena being returned by Victor as Official Martins comes in for the support. Very well played from this bot side. They're abusing the fact that they've got the range on their side.
Yeah, and all of the CC that we can layer, the Dark Binding into the Yordle Snaptrap is just pinning this Irelia in place, taking far too much damage, and this Fiddlesticks has been roaming around the map quite a lot. Geno trying to find his team advantages in other lanes, and as such he is way down on experience. Level 5 compared to the level 7 of Morgana. He doesn't have access to his ultimate yet.
It's 2v2. Zihi is the lowest right now and will go down. Amena picking up that one, but now he's going to be stunned on the tower. The tower is ticking away at him as Martins may look to follow. Flashes forward, tries to get W down, but will be knocked up by Caracal, and we've seen Aatroxes with sustain before going back into his fights, but Amena's decided he doesn't want to do that. He's just going to back away. Very, very well played tower dive over on the side of Royal Reapers.
Yeah, very nicely done indeed. This Victor really suffering in the mid lane here, not working out as that counter matchup that we suggested it might do. Clearly not having that trick of the World 2018 in his arsenal to use here, but still, not too bad. Victor will, of course, still scale up. He will be a monster at wave clearing, and if this game isn't closed out by Royal Reapers before too long, he will be a massive damage threat in his own right still. So don't count him out of the fight just yet. He will be coming online later on, as we're seeing just more trading around the pop, and a nice, healthy gold lead over the side of Royal Reapers at about 4k now.
Yeah, Royal Reapers are really in control of this game, and a lot of that is to do with this bot side. Pimp Aurelia dies twice, but has 4 kills. Axel as well in the top side, really putting the pressure onto Bumblebee. It's only really Z who's doing work in the mid lane, but he has died 3 times in order to get that lead in farm. So it's not looking great for Fuzzy Esports, but they do have ways back into this game. And I'll say in the late game team fights, they're going to be able to do a lot if they can get in and kill that Caitlyn.
Yeah, there's a lot of options to get onto the backline, and although you don't typically think of Renekton as a massive team fighter, you want him in those one-on-one scenarios, between him and the Irelia, that is a lot of diving forwards that you have to deal with, and the only tool that really is available to stop that is this Poppy. She has the steadfast presence, will hold that as a little bit more damage goes down in the top lane. Poppy, now that she has a few items, able to be very obnoxious to this Renekton, but as I was saying, she has that steadfast presence, the aura to deny any bouncing forwards, but playing around that cooldown will be a lot of Fuzzy Esports play style later on. As soon as that goes down, they know that the Irelia and the Renekton can dive forwards, take out this Caitlyn before she's able to put down too much damage, and turn the fight in their favour.
Axel gonna have to be a bit careful taking a decent amount of damage, but we're gonna see the Rift Herald being used up on that top side. We're moving bot. I see Cow Turtle going in. I see Bombi being taken low by Caracal. He might be going down to the ultimate. He will be going down as the tower does as well. Geno might be sniped here, but it's going to be eaten up by Cow Turtle as Official Merchants takes the rest of the damage from that Q. But Francesco and Payne Trevelyan being safe in that 3v2 and might actually look to turn this one. Cal does get that stun, but it's going to be SQ1. He's going to be forced to get away from that one as we see Amena moving down from Dragon Pit, trying to pick up a kill onto Merchants. The Ward Ender gives him the movement speed to do so, and he will be able to pick up that kill. That's very nice play from Raw Reapers, as they will be able to get a second tower in that top side with the help of Rift Herald. Massive, massive play across the map from the Reapers.
A lot of gold being generated here. Pressure in multiple lanes, forcing members away, and Fuzzy Esports just simply not able to respond in time. The Renekton hasn't had the impact that we thought he would do, and 2 towers will fall in the top side. This outer tower in the bottom lane will now fall as well between Omena, Payne Trevelyan and Francesco, pushing that quite nicely. Just going fishing, and we are going to move into a slight pause here, hopefully not too long, but gives us a bit of a breather to break down the past few minutes of action that we've seen. Been very, very hectic so far, and looking quite nicely in Royal Reaper's favour as we're going into the mid-game mark, moving out of laning phase.
You're about to say it. You were about to say Rumble, weren't you?
I was doing no such thing.
Oh, I could feel it. You're like Royal.
I was doing no such thing. I don't know what you are talking about, Viperoon. Couldn't possibly be mistaking Royal Reapers with something else.
We'd never do that. But we
never would we do that. We're both professionals here after all.
Yeah, we don't leave our mics muted and call teams the wrong name, but we are saved by the teams coming back into this on the pause. Was a swift one as we go back in. We are 15.5 minutes into the game. There is a massive goal lead, as you said, over on the side of Royal Reapers, and they're going to look to maybe snowball this one. They've got loads of open real estate on that top side jungle with the 2 towers having fallen up there. They've got the pressure in the bot side and a tower falling down there. So do you reckon they're going to move mid to try and crack open that last outer tower, or do you reckon they're going to be keeping this laning phase going for as long as possible?
I mean, it would be the logical option you'd be looking at. They are in the perfect position to try an assault on Baron, but unfortunately for them, there is another 4 minutes before it spawns. But taking this mid-outer tower will give them access to this top jungle in its entirety, able to move around, clear out any vision that Fuzzy Esports wants to put down, set up their own, and put them in the perfect position to contest this Baron when it comes up. Meanwhile, Fuzzy Esports need to try and hold on to this as much as possible. You can see 3 members hanging around here already. Victor is moving down to the bot side of the map. Renekton still trying to defend against this Poppy. He is 2 levels down now. Really not the position you wanted to see him in. And you've got to wonder how much impact he's going to be able to have on the game when these team fights do erupt, given the deficit he's found himself at.
Z might be in trouble here, has to use the ultimate, looks for the stun, has to flash away as Francesco is taken low, but Mena is chasing him down and will be able to get a dunk on him. He's on a killing spree now, 4-1 on this Aatrox, and Mena is putting on a clinic.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming through there, and you saw how much damage that the Victor was able to return. Morgana nearly falling, but managing to escape. The problem is, he doesn't have any support at the minute. Most of these deaths that we've seen from him, they have been isolated. He hasn't had with SQ1, the Irelia, or the Renekton in front of him to create that pressure, allowing him to move around and cast his spells. He's simply been running back, getting ran down by Omena, and taken out every single time. When the team teams actually group up a little bit more, I do think that this Victor will have more of an impact, but it's how much will that be? Given how far they are falling behind in gold, how much Royal Reapers are accelerating the pace of the game here, like you suggested.
Caught out, having to flash away, but the snipe is coming in. Ace in the hole won't do enough to get the kill, but the tower will fall mid as we do see a tag coming in from Poppy, looking to get onto Geno on that Fiddlesticks. He's going to go golden as the fight breaks out in the jungle. Geno is very low, will be taking down Tame Trevelyan getting that kill as Caracal gets out on a sliver of health, as does Poppy. We see the golden Francisco getting a kill onto Martyrs before falling herself. Very well played as Cal the Turtle picks up that kill. But Royal Reapers, you've got to feel that they got the best of that fight as well.
2-for-1 trade in favour of Royal Reapers, and it was a perfect opportunity for them to throw away that lead, fighting in the enemy jungle in a choke point that very much favours the Reaper and the Victor and the Irelia, sorry, but being caught out again in this mid lane. He is so low and so squishy here. The Archangel staff is hasn't managed to transform into Ceres Embrace yet. There is still quite a way to go on that, and he's still trying to upgrade this Hex Core. So not at these item breakpoints yet, and he still needs more time to scale up. The Irelia only just completing her Trinity Force now, and just really struggling in the gold deficit that Fuzzy Esports are finding themselves in to take these fights, even when it's in an advantageous position for them.
Yeah, their Royal Reapers are so far ahead at this point where it matters that they're just able... In fact, it's not even where it matters, it's across the board more than anything. They can take fights even when they don't seem the best, and Tame Trevelyan is putting out so much damage from such a safe distance, and if no one's able to dive on and kill him early doors in these fights, then Members just going to start being rinsed through over on the side of Fuzzy Esports. They have the tools in order to do that, but the lead that Royal Reapers have looks pretty insurmountable at this point as Bombi's forced away again as Caracal looks to get a gank off, but nothing's going to come of it.
Well, this is something that we actually spent quite a lot of time talking about in our previous game between actually CBA and Fuzzy Esports. The way that the gold was distributed amongst the teams. And although if all of those kills were onto the Caitlyn, we'd be sat here as casters saying that Caitlyn is absolutely horrific. She is a monster. She will rip through the entire team fight. It is actually a lot better for Royal Reapers at this point that it's distributed evenly. Because if the Caitlyn is picked off by the Irelia or the Renekton, you still have a 4-1 Aatrox. You still have a 3-1 Rek'Sai and yet to die Poppy that are able to apply this pressure and keep the damage rolling forward. So there's no easy target for Fuzzy Esports to try and dive on and say we need to take that member first. There's so many problems they have to deal with here, and Royal Reapers are really having all the options to try and play this map exactly how they want it right now.
Yeah, they've got complete control of the tempo of this match and where they want to be playing around. You can see Baron has now spawned on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. So that could be the next target. They might look to get a pick first, or they might try and force it down. Every member of Royal Reapers is around this top side, except for Axalt with that teleport, trying to take down Bombi in the bot side of the map. But Bombi also has teleport, so it could easily be a 5v5 around Baron if they decide to do it. And Mena going back suggests that maybe they're going to hold off for a moment and try and get a better advantageous push or a pick for themselves before they go for that big objective.
Yeah, both teams flirting around the objective here, and really both wanting to try and draw out the opposing team's teleport. Like you mentioned, the Poppy and Renekton both sat down in this bot lane, putting pressure on this tower, both with their teleports up. If you get rid of that teleport from one of those members, the fight is immediately in your favour, because it means you have the option to bring in your 5th member and turn for a 5 versus 4 fight, whereas they are stuck with a numbers disadvantage. We will fizzle out of that Baron play for now, but we still have a lot of vision around this side of the map. I see Fuzzy Esports trying to push out these waves, gain a little bit more control, and grouping up around here as well. We do have a Mountain Drake spawning in a couple of seconds, but it looks like we'll see an engage.
In onto Cal the Turtle, who's going to be taken low, instantly taken down. Tame Trevelyan picking up that one on the Caitlyn, and now they're looking to chase onto Mertens, who's going to be forced to try and dash away, but will be taking a lot of damage from a Mena, who's looking for the chase. Is spell immune as well, so the slow and the stun will not affect him. Is forced to back away though, as the Caracal playing bodyguard down on that bot side, looking to get some damage down on the 4 surviving members of Fuzzy Esports and try and shepherd them away as Baron is started. And Mena, Axile and Tame Trevelyan there, but you can see Fuzzy Esports, they're stacking up looking for damage. Caracal's going to have to be careful not to be taken down. Baron at 8k, and the contest is very much available. Fuzzy Esports hanging around the backside of that pit, but a Mena jumps in, gets the knock up onto 2 as he is stunned away. Geno is looking a bit unhealthy healthy, as Mertens is going to be taken low on the back of that fight. We do see Amena going low. They will go down without a revive, as we see the Renekton fall as well. Mertens going low on that Sejuani is going to be forced back, but Caracol is in the same bad position. Poppy's already dead in this fight, as we see a shutdown taken by Cal the Turtle, but double kill over onto Caitlyn has to be the headline of that fight. Baron Crisis averted for Fuzzy Esports as the ace in the hole will come through. No kill there. It's going to be stopped, but you've got to imagine that Fuzzy Esports would have wanted to play that a little bit cleaner.
Well, I think that came out quite nice with Fuzzy Esports, actually. They managed to bait the fight away, draw Royal Reapers off of the Baron, and still get some kills on the back end of it. It was a very questionable decision by Omen to dash over the wall there, so far ahead of his team. Now, if they would have done that as a 5-man unit, I think that was an easy fight for Royal Reapers. They get the clean ace, they secure the Baron, and then they break an inhibitor. But they didn't manage to get that down. Almena went in so far ahead of the rest of his team that Fuzzy Esports were able to kite back and take him down before you got the support of a Caitlyn. Now, as soon as Caitlyn turned up, that fight immediately went into Royal Reapers' favour, getting the double kill like you said there. But until that point, it was looking a lot more even. And like Baron Crisis averted, no pressure coming down on these lanes for now. So Fuzzy Esports not coming out massively ahead from that fight, but certainly delaying a massive, massive problem that they are going to have to face later on in this game.
Yeah, they'll have to face it if they do allow Royal Reapers to control a Baron that they have currently got. Payne Trevelier is the only member not hanging around there, not including Axel again with the teleport, is always going to be bot until the team fight really breaks out. Victor now being the one to face him with the teleport as well, which means you've got some options on Fuzzy Esports of who you want to contest this Poppy, but we're going to have to see if they decide to pull the trigger again on Baron. They were doing a lot of damage to it with that Mountain Drake as well, are able to burst it down with Z being forced away a little bit by Axile. Are they going to look for another pick, or are they going to look to just go for the objective as Axel being bullied around a little bit by the Victor, goes back in to try and get some stain and some damage. You will use the ultimate, but the flash comes through from Zihi to dodge it, and now Axel might be trouble. He's going to go down as the rest of Royal Reapers will jump onto Baron at an unfortuitous time.
Yeah, very difficult situation to try and contest Baron. We're seeing that the TP could come through for the Victor now. Not looking at it just yet. He is actually backing to get that reset. 2,500 for the engagers here.
The ultimate instantly dies, and Mertens might be in trouble to teleport on the backside of the pit as we need to flash away from Sejuani as the Renekton coming in, trying to get onto Page Vele, but will not be able to, but gets onto Crackle instead. He's going to use that ultimate onto Cal Turtle, who is going to go down, and Mena getting up that one, and now it's going to be Bumblebee falling. Page Vele pops and blocks and gets a kill. Francesco so low, but Z is equally bad. He's got the health, he's got the shield, but he doesn't have too much left of either. Caracal picking up that one, and this time Royal Reapers do get the win in the team fight. Axel coming up with teleport just as the fight ends, and with Francesco going back, it's going to be on the 3/4 members of Royal Reapers to pick up this objective.
Royal Reapers having a Royal Rumble here around this Baron pit. They do manage to take out 4 members of Fuzzy Esports, forcing them away and now securing this Baron for themselves. Very nice team play in a 4v5 scenario. They managed to kite back and take the fight in their favour. They're now going to have a lot of options to move forwards and pressure in these lanes. They already have the push in top. They've got a push down towards this bottom side of the map as well. Lots of different areas to exploit with Omena on this teleport. Could look to split off into a side lane. He is so strong right now. There isn't a single member of Fuzzy Esports that can contest him. Still has the option to TP if these team fights break out. So Fuzzy Esports really going to be on the back foot now. We mentioned a minute ago how they managed to avoid the crisis, but 11k gold down and facing a team running at them with Baron. We'll have to see how long they are able to weather this storm.
That is going to be the name of the game right now. They've got to try and limit the damage that this Baron buff is going to be able to do from Royal Reapers. They've got a good pushing comp themselves on Royal Reapers, so they're going to have to be very careful about where they push, where they get the damage down. It looks like mid lane is going to be their first target. Ace in the hole used to get a little bit of damage down at the beginning of the fight if it's going to come off. But it looks like the siege is just going to be the target. Payne Trevelier and Francesco taking that tower with ease alongside their minion buddies. You can see Amena on that bot side as well, as you said, with Crackle looking to cause some pressure onto Renekton, as the minions will do a bit of damage to the mid tower. Geno on the side as well, but it looks like it's just going to be pushing and sieging. No one's wanting to break out a fight as another tower falls in the bot lane.
Yeah, and Royal Reapers really have some of the best champions in the game to siege here. They have the Caitlyn with the long range, with the Yordle snap traps, to able to create that defensive perimeter, not allowing any members of Fuzzy Esports to get to her, and then you have a Poppy stood in front of that. Anyone that tries to dash through will be stopped dead in their tracks, and you're seeing here in multiple lanes, these tower health bars are just being chipped away. All the pressure, and at any point you feel like there's going to be a big engage and a fight burst out. Omena and Crackle just looking for opportunities over his wall, going fishing with those abilities as Caitlyn drops another tower down towards the bot side, now moving on to the inhibitor.
Yeah, the inhibitor should fall. It looks like Royal Reapers, they're being very careful about it. They don't want to get caught out on an engage. Using that ace in the hole again just for a little bit of chip damage as the inhibitor will fall. You see the mid tower go down as well, so that inhibitor is going to be next on the menu for Royal Reapers, and for Axel, who's already taken it down to half health. The minions chipping away, giving a lot of resistance as Royal Reapers burst into the base. They're trying to get the second objective for themselves and will be able to grab it. Painter ready, picking up that one with one last shot. And now Royal Reapers, they're not going to overstay their welcome. They've got what they came for, and now they're going to go and look to rotate. They're moving towards topside, might even look for a reset if they're feeling like it, to try and really put the game beyond all doubt before this Baron buff runs out.
Yeah, very clean play. Don't need to take any risks at all. Any risky plays are only going to favour Fuzzy Esports and give them a chance to come back into this game. Royal Reapers can play it slow, play it methodical, and close out this game without too much threat at this point. They have two inhibitors pushing in their favour. They have a 15k gold advantage, and they are going to be getting themselves the second Mountain Drake of the game here. So more damage to these objectives, more damage to that lovely, lovely Nexus as it is coming in. And Fuzzy Esports really on the back foot here. They have to just try and defend, and they are running out of options there. We saw how easily Royal Reapers were able to siege, just maintain that and pressure them away. Fuzzy Esports at some point are going to have to take one of these fights, and it just looks more and more unfavourable here.
Yeah, you can see now kind of what we were talking about in Champ Select with the Renekton and the Fiddlesticks. This is kind of a, and even the Victor to an extent, this is not really why these champions aren't played at the moment. You've got Renekton, he's such a bully in early game and in lane, and looks for these sideways, but right now he's not able to do very much because he hasn't got the tankiness to be a full frontliner. He's never really got the damage to split push to get someone like a Mena. You've got Geno who can jump in with that ultimate and then just dies instantly because he's not tanky enough unless he can go golden, and even then not applying all that much. And the Victor, so easy to catch out because of his lack of mobility. It looks like the composition is kind of holding back Fuzzy Esports to an extent. And Royal Reapers, they've been very, very clean and efficient, and they've been playing very well. And with a composition like this, you're always going to have to favour the Reapers.
Yeah, Reapers definitely got the more standard composition for themselves. Still a little bit strange to focus so heavily on AD. We'll hold our breath as we engage. Looks to be kicking off.
Golden Turtle already fallen. It's going to be Caracal picking up that one. But members of Royal Reapers are going low. He gets the first kill onto Francesco as Paige Vellier is going to have to back away, killing the Crocodile as she does. Knock up onto Official Martins following the flash. And now he is running for his life. Going to be cut down. It's going to be Caracal picking up that one as Paige Vellier will get the last shot. And the double kill over onto Z. It's going to be the ace over for Royal Reapers, and that could well be the game as we see teleports coming in towards the Nexus Towers. That's going to be it.
You have 20 seconds left on Geno. He'll be the first member, but it will not matter. All the members of Royal Reapers, other than their support, are here. They are now onto the Nexus. They had these minions already pushing into them, and they will take a relatively easy game for themselves. 27 kills to 10, and a GG over to Royal Reapers against the newcomers of Fuzzy Esports.
Fuzzy Esports, they had a challenging first week here in the SQ1 Champions League. They had to play against Royal Reapers and actually CBA and do fall to an 0-2 record, which is obviously not what you want in your first week, but I've got to say there were definitely moments for them where they played very, very well, and while the competition held them back a little bit, you've got to think that maybe they're looking reasonably good, and I think they're going to be someone we're going to want to follow quite closely. We see Royal Reapers, of course, picking up their win today, meaning that they're going to be going on to a very good record. And after a stuttering start, they've really shown why they were such a force last split.
Yeah, and although obviously we are now sat here praising Royal Reapers for this performance and how dominating it was over Fuzzy Esports, Fuzzy Esports did have a good game against actually CBA just before this. Now, unfortunately, that is on the other broadcast, not ourselves here that you're watching now, but it was a very good game. It was only up until about the 35-minute mark, a very late game, but they lost the lead. They started to fall behind and then actually fell over. But I think if they'd have gone with something a bit more standard here, a bit easier to execute in their team composition, this would have been a much closer game and a lot more competitive. So we definitely don't want to be writing out and bashing on the new boys straight away. They did impress both of us in their first game, and we definitely look forward to seeing what they're able to bring to the table in the next upcoming games.
Yeah, of course. We're really looking forward to seeing what both these teams can do going on in this split. That is all we've got time for, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us to watch Fuzzy Esports sadly being taken down by the Royal Reapers for their first 0-2 of the split. Royal Reapers played very, very well, and I'm excited to see where they go next. From myself, Viperoon, and from the Sarge, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the SQ1 Champions League Week 3 Day 2. And make sure to check us out over on Twitch for the live games that we'll be seeing. Or you can stay right here on YouTube. There are plenty of games to watch from this split, including the VODs from those live games. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you very soon for some more League of Legends.